mentioned, like Curtis probably angling to go second, given he's maining those lightning storms and Raigekis. Like if you want to go second, you kind of want to lose the dice roll, which is kind of a weird mechanic.
Very true.
Because you don't want to let your opponent know that you want to go first or second.
But it's also very tough when your opponent does ask you to start, because you don't know if they're trying to OTK you or if they're trying to crack your board. So like you don't know if you're going to be still in the game for turn 3, so do you decide to keep some of your resources in anticipation, or do you decide to put everything out there to make sure your board can't get cracked? He decided to start. He's been lucky enough to start with a live twin engine.
Yeah, it's kind of terrifying, to be honest, when your opponent lets you go first, isn't it? It's like, what's the plan? Interesting. Did the imperm come down
On the Kisa kill, yes.
rather than the normal summon?
Yes, I can't remember what it started with.
It looked like a normal summoned, Lilla? So I'm a bit confused why you wouldn't just imperm the Lilla, but now we're going to see the surprise factor from Zhu.
Zhu was unable to pop an Unchained Speller Trap card. If he did have an Unchained Speller Trap, he would have been able to advance even more. He's turning now the Unchained Link and Shavara into Yama, because the Unchained Link is also a Fiend.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Like, because if the imperm had just come down on the first live twin monster, that would have prevented this line from happening. But I mean, as you said before, like, who's expecting the fact that it's a Fiend to be relevant? Like, probably you'd be more worried that your opponent's going to use like a Sprite starter or something and make a Gigantic rather than some of the Shavara make a Yama. But now this is pretty much just like full Unchained combo from here, isn't it?
And Zhu has everything he needs. He's really selling his live twin deck, given his sleeves. You would think when he starts with the live twin monsters, given his sleeves, you would think his whole deck is evil twins.
Yeah, I'm always like, I have respect for players when they like turn up and they're like, I'm gonna have the sleeves of my deck. I'm like, is this a bluff? Is this not? And they're just not. No, I love this deck.
And the playmat too.
Yeah. You're just like, why would you tell your opponent what you're playing? It's simple. Like, I love it. I'm here. You know, I'm here to play my live twins. I love live twins.
So he's decided to use Sarama to pop the Arua and reset back the Escape. Escape being able to destroy one of card on his field and his opponent's field. Linking both the Yama and the Shayama into Soul of Rage, I believe.
That would make sense. And then, yeah, this is the classic Unchained combo. Ends you with the Soul of Rage, an Escape, and then the copy of DDD something or other.
DDD High King Caesar, yeah.
There we go.
So,
you knew that one.
So as we saw in game 2, you have the option to pop in the Link monster instead, and this way you are able to use Soul of Rage effect Engrave to add back the Shavara, which lets you play around anything that will try to target the High King Caesar. So I know if your opponent is able to steal the High King Caesar, it actually prevents the Soul of Rage from triggering. And especially other cards, like if he is able to pop one of his back rows, High King Caesar is actually very good into the Unchained board.
Yeah, it's quite a dynamic sort of board of interruptions, isn't it? You've got the High King Caesar, you got the one pop with Escape, and then the Soul of Rage can come back. So it gives you interruptions in quite a kind of layered way. I don't know if any of them really like affect the Sky Striker deck all that much, like, because the Sky Striker deck just wants to activate spells, really, and nothing negates spells.
I feel like Curtis's deck is somewhat built to beat this end board. He is playing Raigeki and Lightning Storm, and we are seeing the Raigeki here play just now.
I feel like if you're Zhu here, you're just like, what year is this? Like, did you just activate Raigeki against me? Like,
but Zhu's able to resolve so many effects here. He has the Shavara underneath the Caesar, he has the Soul of Rage to add back from grave, he has the Caesar to add a Dark Contract from his deck to his hand, and he has the Yama effect to special summon from his graveyard. I think he probably might not have the space to play the Dark Contract, given he is playing a live twin engine, so he's probably just resolving, I believe, 2 effects, not the Yama.
Yeah, that's a good shout, actually. There's no contract in his deck, which is interesting, because that's like a really, really powerful card to start the turn, like special summon, pop, without investing into your normal summon or any of your other engine cards at all.
Yeah, so he can actually hold the Yama to when he uses the Shavara effect to destroy a card. So he has another opportunity to trigger the graveyard effect.
Do you think
Lightning Storm, exactly what his deck is built to do. Clear the opponent's board and then get the benefit of the additional effects of the Sky Striker spell cards which give you more card advantage and more interruption when you have 3 or more spells in the graveyard.
But as you know, the Unchained deck, even their spells and traps being destroyed will trigger their effect. So,
Yes.
so it's not the hugest deal for Zhu. I mean, it's not great, obviously, but like, it's not the end of the world. Like normally you'd think Lightning Storm, 3 back row, this is absolutely awful. But he's going to get to summon 2 monsters and trigger the Yama if he wants to.
He's gone for one of the newer cards that was not in the original Sky Striker set.
So that's Mobilize Linkage, I believe?
Yeah, I believe it lets you special summon a Sky Striker monster from your extra deck.
Yeah, and you have to send a card you control to the graveyard, but because the Lightning Storm is currently on the field, you can do that.
Has he? I think he's also decided to chain the Shavara to destroy one of the back row. To be able to special summon from hand, and now he's going to use both the traps effects. I think this is a really good opportunity to summon Rakia, and he's also used the Yama.
Yeah, the Sky Striker monsters now without Ray in the graveyard, a bit more fragile than they would normally be. But Kurt has now got 3 spells, which is obviously the magic number. So, and he's got what, 2 cards left in his hand. So if one of those is engaged, he's going to be very happy.
This Solar Rage also being able to go to SP Little Knight might make it more of a trouble for Curtis to break through into this board.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what the last 2 cards are for Curtis. Like, pretty clutch. I think I can see one of them is Ash, but maybe that's my eyes. It might be a Rose as well. Had the light background.
Yeah. Even after playing the Raigeki and Lightning Storm, the field that Zhu has is still powerful.
It's really funny. Like, you wouldn't think this was a field where your opponent had just activated a card to destroy all your monsters and then a card to destroy all your spells and traps. I mean, given this, do you agree? Like, maybe he should have done it the other way around.
Activating the Lightning Storm first and the Raigeki, I think that makes more sense to me as well. But the issue with activating the Lightning Storm first, then the Raigeki, he would then keep the Shavara trap because the Shavara would go to the graveyard later, and then he would get to reset the trap, but he would not be able to activate the trap.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, it's not super important.
Maybe Curtis feels more confident playing into the monsters because we have cards like Afterburners, Widow Anchor that are able to steal Zhu's monsters. So maybe he's happy. We see Zhu also have the Ash Blossom as well on the engage. I think this is a very tough spot for Curtis now.
Yeah, that was really patient from Zhu, choosing not to interrupt the Hayate into Kagari line just because he knew he had the Ash to stop engage. It's interesting though, because like, what else are you really going to use that Soul of Rage for, if not to just link away a Sky Striker link?
This Shizuka is now very vulnerable because he doesn't have access to Ray. Exactly, and now he's using the Soul of Rage effect. This time he might summon Nightmare Unicorn to then deal with the back row that Curtis also just set. Oh, he's gone for SP Little Knight, which also banishes it. Now with SP Little Knight, you actually don't need Nightmare Unicorn.
Yeah, I think that SP Little Knight also kind of plays around Ray a bit, doesn't it?
True, I guess.
Because Ray would always be chaining 1, given Curtis is the turn player. So SP Little Knight could be chaining 2, and then...
That's very smart.
I always find that sometimes you have like games of chicken when you have like effects which have to activate in the main phase. You know, because like if Curtis was feeling very bold, he could have just, tried to go to his end phase with the Widow Anchor still in his hand, and then Zhu might have interrupted him still in the main phase, and then you can still continue your main phase too. But it is a big bluff, and it is a big like game of chicken sometimes, and you can make yourself in trouble if your opponent like just says, okay, you go to your own phase, it's fine, you can search.
Yeah, sometimes you always need this extra time to think and figure out the sequencing of just not only your cards, but also your opponent's cards as well. Zhu has just drawn, and Zhu already has enough, quite a lot of damage on board already, and now he's summoning Lila. He can't use this effect because you need to control no other monsters.
He can't link summon either, right? Because the arrows of Little Knight are just left and right.
Yes.
But has he got 8,000 almost? Little Knight's 16, I want to say.
Yes, and Arua's 13.
Arua's 13, so that's 8,000. Unless we're playing around calls.
No, he's missing, I believe, 1,000. Oh, no, Lila is 500. So he's missing around 600, I want to say.
Is Shivara 2,000?
Yeah, Shivara is 2,000.
I thought it was 2,400 for some reason, all right.
So if Zhu is able to get 600 more points of damage, I don't think Curtis has anything to stop him from not losing his life points. He has no back row, he has no monsters, and I don't believe he has anything in hand that could prevent him.
Yeah, I think we're just going to see a simple link up into one of the evil twins, and then that can summon the other one from the graveyard.
Yeah, exactly.
And then that should be enough damage, unless Zhu's not played anything weird like, any Pot of Prosperity or something. So
that is the benefit of the live twin cards, is that when you have an established graveyard, you can then only need one name to be able to climb up into Kisakyo and Lila. And yeah, as we're seeing, he's summoned Trouble Sunny, and he has enough damage on board with Trouble Sunny's attack being 3,000. And that's it, and we're going straight into game 2. That is very uncommon.
I don't even know what that does. Do you have to roll a dice and destroy one of your opponent's spells or traps or something? Is that... There's a couple of cards like that. There's a card called Dice Try. Do you know what that does? It's like a counter spell, and you like flip it and you roll a dice, and if you get the right number, you negate it. That's that card.
All that imaginary Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, it's not a good card. And
so I guess Zhu has decided is going first. Curtis has opted to let him start again.
I think there can be only one is like very reasonable deciding, even going second against Unchained. I don't know what you think about that.
I wonder what Curtis is thinking in his second attempt to try and break Zhu's board. He's had the same opening where he started with...
he's done the same thing again, where he's let his opponent get to resolve the effect of the side. I'm kind of intrigued by this, because I feel like giving your opponent a fiend, like we saw what happened last time, that you can just use that fiend as a link material, whereas using a Cyburst as a link material is a lot harder.
Yeah, and now we're seeing a similar game stat as we saw in game 1. Zhu establishing 2 fiend monsters on the field. This Ash, I don't think does enough, because he has quite a lot of resources already, and the Abomination Prism helping Zhu extend it even more.
Yeah, I think that would have been pretty hard to play through if just, if you didn't have anything else. But with the Abomination's Prison now, he's going to be able to set another trap probably, and then go ahead and search maybe a Shavara from the deck after link summoning Yama. But
I believe so too.
It's when you have a lot of engine, sometimes it's actually the best thing to see if your opponent's using like these trading cards in their hand, like Ash and Impermanence, because that way your engine, like you can just, if you got excess engine and it effectively just takes cards out of your opponent's hand, you're really happy with that, because you're still going to end with the field that you wanted. Whereas if, Curtis had something, and this is just the way the hands line up, right? If he had something like Evenly Matched, Lightning Storm, whatever, that can trade with a lot of cards, whereas Ash and Imperm here have just traded 1 for 1, but Zhu's still going to be able to accrue quite a lot of advantage anyway.
Yeah, going into Curtis' turn, Zhu only has to try and beat the 4 cards he will have in hand, which is, I don't think it will be enough to what he's going to establish.
Do you think Zhu will remember Kisako Frost this time?
I don't think he had a...
Did he not have a chance
so
to
you have,
trigger it?
So for Kisako Frost effect, I believe you need to have an evil twin monster on the field.
Oh, and he didn't do that last time.
It was
linked off.
It was linked off.
I'm just saying that because I always forget it. Like every time.
No, it's very easy to forget. You're concentrating on other things. Is he going straight into the rank 6 here?
It did look like that, which doesn't seem that great against Sky Striker.
Because Yama is such an amazing card, having multiple effects.
This is he can't link summon anything?
He can link summon. The Kisako has an arrow underneath.
Oh, it's got a down arrow. Okay. Oh, yeah, it's down and right. Sorry, I
so he's gone for the Soul of Rage. Deciding to keep the Kisako on board, and maybe, like you said, to be able to resolve the Frost effect, because now he has the condition of
you reckon that was his plan? I'm going to draw a card. I feel like Yama could do a little more here, no?
Yeah, maybe he was taking your advice and could hear us all the way up here. Oh, he's using Shavara's effect when he's sent to the graveyard to be able to set an Unchained spell or trap from his grave. And he's popping it straight away with Shayama.
Shayama's like such a powerful card. I like the fact that it was included in a couple of Tillman decks as well.
Yeah, it's very amazing. And people sometimes also forget about its on-field effect. To destroy a fiend on the field or set a face-down card, and to destroy 1 spell or trap card your opponent controls. And it really helps playing through something like Rescuers, where they set multiple spell and trap cards.
It's one of those cards that's like, it's so good, even if it didn't have a second great effect, it would still see a lot of play.
I think so too. There's a lot of decks that try to send cards from the deck to graveyard, and when cards like Shayama are sent, they have additional card advantage. And has Zhu passed turn with what he currently has? A Soul of Rage and a DDT at High King Caesar with 2 materials under it.
Getting a bit deja vu here.
Regeki again. Will it be better this time around. The Solar Rage will most likely add the Shavara back from grave, and I guess this is probably Zhu's best chance of using Yama. Maybe he might hold it.
So he's just kind of declaring his chain links. It's good to keep a cool head here because there's quite a lot of chain links and it might be easy to miss one. Because he's got the Yama if he wants it. And the Soul of Rage. It doesn't look like he's activating the Yama.
So I am pretty happy with how he's decided to do this, because now when you add back the Shavara from the graveyard, you now have the option to choose when you want to destroy your monster. So now he can summon this Yama whenever he wants while he has a card on the field.
It's very neat. So that's kind of like one interruption, maybe just with getting the Soul of Rage back, or is there anything else you can do with it?
Currently, I think that's all he has. From the trap, you can special summon Unchained Abominable, I believe. The level 8 monster lets you discard a card. Oh, Lightning Storm again.
This doesn't feel like it's a very high value Lightning Storm, but I guess he might just want to get the spells into the graveyard. And he's not going to be able to activate it in the future, is he? So
yes.
But yeah, as we see, it just forces your opponent to use Shavara, but that doesn't seem like worth a card. But I mean, I guess you can't do anything else with it, can you? So
can we see a second Regeki coming down?
That would be very funny.
But Curtis only has 2 cards left in his hand. At this point, he really needs to see a card that will let him get into his Sky Striker Link monsters.
I mean, the talents cards would be amazing. Like,
yes.
They're both tactics. They're not both talents. But one of those would be ideal here, right?
Yes,
Oh, there it is.
and exactly as you called it, he has triple tactics Frost, and now he has 3 spells in his graveyard to get the second effect of Engage, which lets you draw 1 card from your deck.
Like, Thrust is the reason that when I saw Thrust, I was like, oh, can we put this in Sky Striker? Because it just seems so cool. Like, imagine a card that puts a spell in your grave and searches Engage.
But Zhu did have the Drolan Lockbird, which I think turns off all of Curtis's following plays now. He only has an Engage in hand and 1 unknown. And yeah, he's passed straight back. The Drolan Lockbird was very strong here.
Yeah, and we're going to see, like, he's got the
The Shayama.
The Shayama in grave. What's the name of the monster in play?
So he's got the Sarama on field,
Sarama.
which is also very strong.
Yeah, it's a great monster just to start the turn with, right?
Because he can reset any of his spell or trap cards, or you can actually target the Rua and destroy it straight away and be able to special summon from your deck, essentially for free.
Yeah, so you could set spell and trap and destroy that, right? And then...
Yeah, I think he's exactly doing that. He's setting it and then destroying it and getting him an additional body. The Unchained monsters also have high attack points, so it doesn't take a lot to be able to put 8,000 damage on the field.
Yeah, it's very quick. Just the Shyama and then maybe destroy and summon a Soul of Rage, and then that's 8,000. But I don't know if Kurtz has got anything to say about it.
I can see Zhu's gone for a very small Unchained package. He's not playing Rakia. Rakia is very useful in trying to put damage in the battle phase, because you have a quick effect to destroy 1 monster you control.
Oh yeah, that's a really neat combo to do extra damage. But he's also not playing the
level 8 monster.
Yeah,
that was mentioned.
Is it? That's the Abominable Soul of Rage? Okay, the names are all too similar for me.
Unchained Abominable, yeah. I feel like he's only missing 500 points of damage, and if he just uses Yamas... Oh, he doesn't have a Yama in grave. I completely forgot. He decided to not summon it in turn 1.
Yeah, that's why he didn't activate it. Like, imagine playing Unchained and not having a Yama. That's amazing. What do we think that last card is?
Ash Blossom.
Normal summon Ash. I love it.
You can link... You can do so much. Link in the Ash Blossom and the Sarama. But he might be Fiend locked from special summon from his extra deck, because he used Sarama's effect.
Yeah. So does he run Muckracker, but he's got no cards left in his hand, maybe?
Yeah. But there's a lot he can do. It depends if he wants to play around something like Nibiru, but there's only 1 unknown in Curtis's hand.
Yeah, it'd have to have been the 6th card as well, Nibiru, because otherwise it probably would have come down the turn before. But still could be a card, and there's no reason to play into it if you don't have to.
I just saw Zhu flash a Ninja Mosquito, which I thought is a really interesting tech in his deck, leveraging the level 2s that the Live Twins give you.
Yeah, it seems strange. I feel like Unchained is more than happy just to clear your opponent's field rather than just have to sort of cheese a bunch of damage through it. But
yeah, he decided to link these 2 off into an SP Little Knight, but I think the Sarama might have locked him into Fiends.
I'm not 100% sure. You're just going to have a little look on the Neuron app. See if it locks you into
But
Fiends.
he has not used Shavara's graveyard effect, which lets him get a spell and trap card on the field, and this is where you can use Shyama's field effect to destroy whatever you would like. The option to destroy a spell and trap card is optional.
I'm intrigued here. It looked like they were going to some pen and paper and writing down some damage, but maybe he was writing down something else. But often, like, when you see the paper come out, it means he's gone to the battle phase. Did he just pass? I mean, here we see, I guess, maybe like what happens when you try and spread your extra deck quite thinly between a couple of different archetypes, is you don't have the follow-up. So he's gone through like a bunch of his Unchained extra deck. You know, there's no second Wave King High Caesar, for example, which might have been really useful there.
You're right, the Evil Twin package does take somewhat of a commitment from the extra deck, because we also saw he decided to play Trouble Sunny too. And he's decided also to play the Unchained cards and the XYZs and some rank 2s. And this engage, I think, is really strong at this moment because Zhu has nothing to stop it.
Yeah, Zhu's probably going to be regretting like normal summoning that Ash Blossom because that would have been pretty useful here.
One of the best cards in the spot. Multi-roll, a blast from the past. Sky Striker Ray.
And there's no good way to prevent the Ray effect with a Little Knight. So we're going to see Kagari.
Targeting the engage again, and this is how Sky Striker, this is the gameplay of Sky Striker. Essentially, fill your graveyard with spell cards, activate engage, Kagari, add back the engage, multi-roll, resetting back Sky Striker spell cards to the number of Sky Striker spells you played this turn. So multi-roll is currently 1 Sky Striker activation for it. And
did he use the multi-roll and chain the Ray, do we think? Or?
I am not sure. It's a very good play. It's a play I'm a fan of.
Well, it's helpful here because he's going to try and activate Widow Anchor maybe to take one of his opponent's monsters. And if you have already resolved multi-roll, it will prevent your opponent from chaining the SP Little Knight.
Exactly.
But we saw Curtis at the beginning of the turn. I think he would have had 3 cards, but now he's going to have, I mean, we can't see his hand, but I think it's going to be like more like 4 or 5. Showing you the power of that Sky Striker engage.
Reading the SP Little Light, maybe wondering if he should have played it into his own deck.
Yeah, I mean, he could like take his opponent's Little Knight and make it. I mean, it doesn't look like, it can be a problem for some decks sometimes if you run out of extra deck. You have all these monsters, you can summon them, but then like, what do you do? Like some decks, like the Kashtira deck, for example, in the last format was excellent. It didn't need the extra deck. All of the monsters were threats by themselves. But for the Unchained deck, that's really not the case. Like they're just bodies. They're just sitting there doing nothing. So it looks like Curtis went to his battle phase.
Attack the SP Little Knight. And it's what we're seeing with a lot of different Go Second strategies. You can either decide to try and push through and deal 8,000 damage on your turn, or what Curtis is probably doing is just clearing the opponent's board and setting up a couple of interrupts, maybe a Sky Striker Widow Anchor we'll see, to stop the opponent playing afterwards, because they'll be on such little cards if you've already tried to deal with the present field.
Yeah, the Hayate as well is going to get in for 2/5, I think, because the linkage has the bonus effect of giving you 1,000 extra attack if you have 3 or more spells or traps. It is going to be difficult for Curtis though, because he's only on 900, and the kind of play style of Sky Striker is like leaving a Sky Striker Link monster, and they can be quite small. So if you have to leave a small monster in attack position, obviously it's a Link monster, it can't go into defense.
Shizuku does have a great effect though. Your opponent's monsters lose 100 attack for every spell card that is in the graveyard, which makes it a bit more tougher to deal with this 900 damage that he needs.
Should we see? I couldn't quite see how many. I think he's got like 4 or 5, and he's going to take a few out for the multi-roll.
True. But this is also a common play that is done with multi-roll. You can add a spell with Shizuku in the end phase that's not in your graveyard. And if it's a quick play spell, you can activate in the end phase. So here is activating Widow Anchor to negate is on Shizuku, and then he's probably going to reset it again to be able to use it on the opponent's turn.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's a really cool play, that. Or maybe the linkage as well will also increase the attack of whatever link monster he has in the extra monster zone.
You can then use it to summon Kana, which prevents, you can target one monster and it can't attack for that turn.
Yeah, and gain some life points as well every time he uses Sky Striker spell or trap. Get back from 900, claw his way back.
I think we're going to see an interesting turn 3 from Zhu for sure.
Yeah,
because he has quite a lot on the field
but
already.
Given the way he just passed his last turn, I'm wondering, what is there to do that he wouldn't have done before? I mean, he still looks like he's got a lot of cards in his extra deck.
He has used SP Little Knight already, which might have been a bit too early. It is one of the best. It would be a card that would really help him out right now.
Yeah, is there? I mean, as we mentioned 10 times, I don't think he's used Yama yet, so that's a possibility. But yeah, other than that, I'm interested. He might not even have that many monsters, Unchained monsters left in his deck to summon, because he's not used the Sarama effect.
Link summoning. Are we finally going to see the Unchained Soul of Yama?
Muckracker. So no, sorry.
Did we miss something? Is there a Yama already in the graveyard?
Surely it would have been banished by now. Maybe he sided it out. It must have been banished. It looks like he's not even using the Shavara, so maybe he's not running so many traps. Yeah, he's only running 3 Unchained traps, so maybe he's out of those as well.
True.
To trigger with Shavara.
That would make a lot of sense why he wasn't able to do it on his previous turn when he had 2 Shavaras on the field. Decided to use Widow Anchor on the Muckracker. Is he going to take control of the Muckracker? Because the problem with Widow Anchor taking control, it puts a monster in your main monster zone, and the Sky Striker spells, in order to activate, you need to have no monsters in the main monster zone. So yeah, he's decided not to take control of it.
Muckracker can't be used as a link material anyway.
Yes.
And I don't think Widow Anchor turns that off, unless I'm mistaken.
I'm not exactly sure as well.
There are certain cards where they're kind of conditions rather than effects. I'm interested though, I'm pretty sure that Muckracker does not have a cost to discard, it's part of the effect of this card, so I think the impermanent should still be in Zhu's hand. But he does seem to be pretty much out of stuff, so I'm not sure if that's going to matter too much, 1 infinite impermanent. Player's just discussing something.
If trying to discuss if it's the Widow Anchor set from multi-roll, because multi-roll has this effect that the spell and trap cards that you set from it are banished after they are activated.
You picked that up. I'm pretty sure it was the cards closest to the deck and the multi-roll that was set.
Him deciding to attack, I think he's really realizing just now that his Sarama is actually on less attack than the Shizuku, and now he's taking damage.
Do you think he did it on purpose, maybe just to trigger the effect and summon a monster from his deck?
Potentially, but the number of Unchained monsters he has in his deck aren't too high.
It's not, but he just put the Shyama back, at least. But I don't know why he didn't try and use the Shyama, just the set a spell or trap and then destroy it and then just summon it and then still have the Shyama and the Shavara.
Interesting to see. He's trying to attack into it again and losing life points.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many spells there are in the grave for Curtis, but I guess at least 6 if the Shizuku is beating up the Shyama. This is amazing because I absolutely thought Zhu was going to take this game on his 3rd turn, and now it doesn't seem that way at all. He was
so close. He had 7,100 points of damage on the field.
And Curtis had nothing. He was completely shut down by that draw and lock ward. It buys you a turn, but you have to use that turn to win the game. If you don't, then your opponent's still got all of their cards again.
It must hurt even more that he used the Ash in order to summon this SP Little Knight, and it would have been the perfect card to stop the engage that he knew was sitting in Curtis's hand.
Yeah, maybe he just assumed that he was going to be able to win the game that turn, but it didn't quite plan it out all the way through.
Oh, he's using the new card from Age of Overlord, Super Star Slayer Typhon Star Crisis. I think this is a card that many people will forget about. It hasn't. In order for it to be summoned, the opponent needs to have summoned from the extra deck 2 or more times, either on the previous turn or this turn. And it has an effect where you can detach a material and return 1 card on the field to the hand. And he decided to bounce back the Shizuku. But this has triggered the Sky Striker Ray effect from the graveyard, which I'm not sure is ideal, and he can summon back the Shizuku again if he wants to. Or the Kagari is even a better option to add back the engage.
It just feels like a free card, yeah.
And yeah, he's packed it up after seeing the amount of advantage Curtis had.
That was a
I
massive
think
comeback.
Zhu just told Curtis he would like to start, believing that he was wrong anti-spell. Did we see a prohibition? I wonder what you'll call. It's going to be tough for us to figure out.
We're not going to know, yeah. How's your lip reading? Like,
if he does win this match, we can ask him in the interview what he was planning to call with this prohibition. And he started strong with the live twin normal summon, Kisakill.
You know what we might see, like, at the end of the game, what we'll have to see is, like, Curtis will show him the card in his hand that he called with prohibition. That's the
and they'll laugh about it.
Go. Yeah. He'll be like, oh, I definitely would have won this game if I could resolve my 2 lightning storms, which I drew.
No imperm. We're finally seeing this Kisakill resolve. So I'm interested to see what the full combo looks like when they are not interrupted. Leela summon back Kisakill, which will let him draw a card because he controls a Leela on the field.
Is that just a different art? That's Lila Treat, is it?
The graveyard. It is somewhat like the Kisakill Frost, where it has a graveyard effect. It's called, Lila Treat.
Is that new?
No, it was in the original package. I think it has an additional effect while you control a Evil Twin.
It's just not as popular as Frost because I guess the effect isn't as good?
When you start with Kisakill, you have to summon the counterpart. Summoned a Leela and he has to summon a Kisakill monster.
Yeah, don't people normally just summon the other Lila rather than having to put an extra treat in your deck?
I guess he's opted for the bonus of the treat.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering what that graveyard effect is. Because I think most people don't bother with it.
Yeah.
Rather, like, it's not worth the potential of drawing it to get that bonus graveyard effect. But
I think it's more common where it is not included into the deck. But he's decided to summon special summon Trouble Sunny and tribute its effect straight away to summon back both Link monsters. Now we're seeing the synergy of the Evil Twin cards and the Unchained cards, special summoning back Kisakill and Leela, and Leela's effect, Evil Twin Leela's effect is if you control Kisakill, you can destroy one card you control, and he's destroyed his Abominable.
I like that from Curtis because he was probably thinking exactly the same thing I was because I've not tried it before. It's like, can you pop your own card with Leela? Like, let me just check.
On turn 1?
Yeah.
And now he's turning both the Shavara and the Link monster into a trap. And I think now we're seeing the full power of this deck because now he has the Kisakill to use on his opponent's turn and he's summoning a Yama and doing the normal Unchained combo.
So yeah, this is a bit like the way people were using the DDD package, the contract, and then you would get to pop your own card as well as get a free fiend to start Link summoning with. So this feels like a very similar kind of thing. But this way you're going to end with a Kisakill in play, and he's already got a draw as well. So yeah, I'd be pretty happy with this if I was you. It seems pretty cool. But
the disadvantage with this, instead of the Dark Contract spell cards, is that this does use your normal summon, whereas you're not able to pop your Unchained monster you'd like to summon with the Machina.
Do you think Curtis is side decked in Nibiru's?
I think from what I've seen so far, Nibiru would be amazing into this deck. Most of the time when you see someone playing with the Evil Twin cards, they make a gigantic sprite, which can be problematic.
I was going to say, like, Unchained has got his way to play around Nibiru with the High King Caesar, and Live Twins have got their way to play around Nibiru with Gigantic Sprite. But when you put the two of them together, there's no way you can play around Nibiru, which is quite funny.
So he's used Sarama's effect to special summon Shayama and decided to pop itself. But if you use this effect, I don't believe you're able to special summon from deck.
Yeah, if you pop, it says they can't be destroyed by their own effect, right? To get
this one, yeah. So I'm not sure how this Shavara got onto the field.
Maybe the table judges just mentioned that now, or maybe they're mentioning something else. I'm also wondering, do you think he discarded for Muckracker to bring back Kisakill?
He discarded for the Muckracker effect. He special summons Shayama.
Because you can't use Kisakill because he already... Oh no, he controls a Kisakill. Okay, he can do that, yeah. Because he already controls the Kisakill Frost, so he wouldn't be able to use Lila if he had a Lila in play, but that was Kisakill he used, okay.
I think he's linking both of these away into another Trouble Sunny to then special summon both links on Curtis's turn.
I was checking, he does actually run 2 Trouble Sunny. So that's a big commitment into the Live Twin engine.
Really putting a lot into his going first field. I'm
a bit worried here because like he's gone through. He only runs one of each Lila and Kisakill. There's only one Muckracker from the Underworld. So
Prohibition. I didn't actually catch what he decided to call with it. I was trying to read.
Yeah,
his lips.
so like there's no way for the live twin engine to come back. He's used his entire live twin engine now. Muckracker does have a protection effect, right?
Yes, I believe if a card you control will be destroyed by, or a fiend, can't remember which one it would be, you can send itself, tribute itself.
Oh, but that wouldn't work
protect.
for Raigeki, because the Muckracker's also being destroyed. So
Yes.
it's kind of weird sometimes, protection effects like that. It's like, if the card, you can't like send a card to protect something else if the card you're trying to send to protect would be destroyed anyway.
So this is why I believe he can use his Muckracker to protect it. I'm not sure if, or he's happy for it to be destroyed. Okay, choose. Are you still thinking?
I think it's a bluff, you know. Destroy this and then activate Raigeki.
Oh, is he chaining Trouble Sunny? Maybe to get the draw, to see if he could draw into Ash and stop a card like Frost.
Does seem a little weird to just do this now.
So he's used the
can send
Muckracker
any
effect.
fiend.
You can send any fiend. So he's decided to special summon both, send Kizago. Oh, the Leela, sorry.
Harpy's Feather Duster. Maybe he called Lightning Storm. Got Feather Dusted. But like, this is the thing. Like, if that was just anti-spell, that can't happen. So this is a.
I'd really love to know what was called with his prior prohibition.
My money's definitely on Lightning Storm. But maybe he just called Engage.
Lightning Storm is that too.
How many engages can you play at the moment? I'm not even sure. Is it 3?
I think it's 2.
Okay, he's got 2 copies in his deck, and I'm gonna do him the courtesy of assuming if it was at 3, he would have 3 in his deck, you know.
Kizakill? I mean, is he thinking about using Kizakill effect? The only problem is that he can chain Ray.
But you can negate Ray with High King Caesar.
True. Oh, he's going straight into battle phase. I believe the Evil Twin cards can only activate in the main phase.
How many times? This Muckracker can just protect everything.
I guess now we're seeing the synergy with the Muckracker protecting the Evil Twin links. Did I see a droplet in Curtis's hand?
I don't. Did you?
I think so. I think it would have been really good in this scenario right now. Even now, if he does use the Caesar effect, he can chain the droplets to negate the Caesar, and probably can also negate the Evil Twin Kizakill.
I feel like he could have negated the Muckracker a while ago. That might have been good. Because like when maybe he didn't see it, because Muckracker's not an effect you can chain to.
Yeah.
So if he'd maybe realized that, because like if he just like negated Muckracker, then the afterburners would have just resolved and destroyed the Caesar a while ago.
So now he's chaining Kizakill to the droplets, because droplets only sent the spell card. He can respond with monster effects. Did he? No. He didn't chain the Kizakill.
It's still the battle phase.
Yeah.
So now the Hayate is gonna possibly get to attack over this Kizakill. Because you don't need to attack directly with it. You are allowed to attack your opponent's monsters.
Yep.
And with only 2 minutes remaining, like gaining a life point lead has got to feel good for Curtis. I'm looking at this Kizakill Frost as well. It's kind of upset me though that it's still on the field this whole game. Like, could it not have come into play somehow?
Now he's in the mid. Wait.
So it looks like we're seeing a Kagari. You're just debating whether he wants to use the Kizakill. He gets a pop off of it, but the Ray would just come back.
I believe he now has 3 spells in the graveyard. I saw a Feather Duster, the droplets, the Hornet drones that were discarded off the droplets. This Engage is now letting him draw another card. He's now trying to, I believe he's going to activate more Sky Striker Spell and Trap cards because he decided to go for multi-roll. He can also decide to use multi-roll's effect here and maybe, for example, use the Widow Anchor on the Kizakill. Shizuku, set 1.
Doesn't feel like he's... I mean, he got his own engine rolling, but this doesn't feel like a lot, you know. You've still got 5 monsters in play at the end of the turn.
So I guess before Curtis can go to the end phase, she was trying to use Kiz's effect to summon the Leela and destroy the multi-roll. But Curtis now has a lot, and with a minute left, I believe he has enough to deal damage. Searching a Widow Anchor, but I'm not sure what it does now in the end phase because he no longer has the multi-roll to reset it.
You know what would be a difficult card to get through here for you if Curtis had it would be I want to remember the name of it now. What's Eagle Booster? That would make that Shizuku into the ultimate boss monster that can't be affected by any card effects or destroyed by battle, I want to say. So,
yes. Oh, there can only be one.
Oof. Well, currently he has 4 Fiends in play, so he's got to make a choice.
It makes sense he started this card because he did not know whether he was going to start or go second.
I mean, I think it's perfectly good going second. Like, look at it, he's using it going second now, and this is what's happening. Like, I don't think Xu's got any good way to deal with opponents' trap cards.
Yeah, he decided to keep the Kizuko on board, but he can't use this effect to summon back the Leela because it is also a Fiend.
Yeah, it's interesting you'd rather keep that than something like Wave King High Season.
Exactly. I wonder what he can do now in this deck can only be one. I think he struggles, and I think Xu concedes.
Nothing. Yeah, I mean, the SP Little Knight maybe, but that's it. Like, what a comeback for Curtis. Like, both games 2 and 3 look very uphill.